Hello, welcome back. And okay, we need to talk about what just happened in Toronto because ARMY is not okay right now, and honestly, neither am I. Jimin just walked into Rogers Stadium on night 2 of the ARIRANG World Tour and completely rewrote the definition of iconic. We are talking full body chills, tears, screaming, phones shaking because hands were shaking. Toronto has officially entered the chat, and it is loud. Let's set the scene first, because you need to understand exactly what kind of night this was. BTS touched down in Toronto for their first Canadian shows in over a decade. Over a decade, let that sink in, and Rogers Stadium sold out completely. Every single seat, every single inch of standing room. Tens of thousands of ARMY packed shoulder to shoulder under a 360-degree stage, which means there was genuinely no bad seat in the entire building. Wherever you were standing, Jimin could turn, could point, could look directly at you. And on night 2, it felt like he did exactly that to everyone at once. This is the second night of back-to-back Toronto shows, and if night 1 set the bar, night 2 absolutely shattered it. Because this wasn't just BTS performing their set list and going home. This was 7 members freshly reunited after military service, back on a massive international stage, playing tracks off their 2026 album alongside classics like Outro, Tear, that hit differently live, and in the middle of all of that energy, all that noise, all that chaos, Jimin found a way to make it personal, over and over again. That's the theme of tonight's video. Jimin, in front of thousands of people, somehow making it feel like he was only performing for one person at a time. Think about what it actually took to get to this point. Years of the members scattered across different bases, different schedules, different countries, ARMY holding onto old fan cams and old lightstick videos just to feel close to something that used to be a weekly occurrence. And now here they are, 7 of them, back under one roof, one stage, one crowd, and Toronto, a city that hadn't even had a BTS show in over 10 years, gotta be one of the cities that witnessed this new chapter up close. You could feel that history in the air the second the lights dropped. This wasn't just another stop on a world tour. For a lot of the people in that stadium, this was a moment they weren't sure they'd ever get to experience again, and Jimin, more than almost anyone else on that stage, seemed to understand exactly what that meant to the people standing in front of him. So, let's start with the moment that is already flooding every timeline, every group chat, every fancam compilation edit at 2 a.m. Partway through the set, Jimin was working the edge of the stage, reaching out high-fiving hands, doing what Jimin does best, connecting. And then he stopped. He looked down. There was a kid in the crowd, right at the barricade, and Jimin didn't just wave or blow a kiss and move on like a normal celebrity moment. He took off his own sweater. His own sweater, mid-concert, sweaty, adrenaline-pumping, lights blinding, and he handed it directly to that kid, in front of everyone. One fan literally captioned it, "Jimin, in front of my eyes, giving a kid his sweater," because she could not believe what she was witnessing happen right in front of her own face. That's not something artists usually do. Artists usually toss a guitar pick, a wristband, maybe a sign poster if you're lucky. Jimin took the actual clothing off his own body and gave it to a child at his show. Can you imagine being that kid? Can you imagine being that kid's parents? That sweater is never getting washed again, I promise you that. And here's the thing about Jimin that ARMY has known for years, but that keeps getting proven, show after show, tour after tour. He treats every single fan interaction like it's the most important thing happening in that stadium. Not a PR moment, not a good visual for the cameras moment, a real one. You could see it in his face when he handed over that sweater. He wasn't performing generosity, he was just being generous, and the fact that thousands of people happened to be watching almost seemed beside the point to him in that second. That's the kind of thing that turns a concert clip into a core memory for an entire fandom. And look, if this were the only thing Jimin did all night, it would already be enough to fill up an entire video. Think about the logistics of it for a second. He's in the middle of a set, he's got choreography coming up, he's drenched in sweat under stage lights that are basically small suns, and he still takes the time to peel off a layer of his own clothing and physically hand it across the barricade instead of just tossing it into the crowd and letting whoever catches it catch it. That's a choice. That's him deciding in real time that this one kid, in this one moment, deserved to have it placed directly into their hands instead of left up to chance. And that's exactly the kind of small, deliberate decision that ARMY has spent years falling in love with, because it happens over and over, tour after tour, country after country, and it never once looks like an act. The fan account that posted the clip described it as happening in front of my eyes, and that phrase alone tells you everything about the energy in that section of the crowd. This wasn't something people heard about after the fact through a recap article. This was something that happened close enough, real enough, that people are still processing that they watched it live with their own eyes a few feet away from where it happened. Now let's talk about what happened next, because Toronto Night 2 was apparently determined to give us moment after moment after moment, and the next one hit an entirely different emotional register. Later in the set, during one of the high-energy transitions, V made a beeline, a literal beeline straight for Jimin. Not a scripted choreography moment, not something blocked out by a stage director. Just V mid-performance, walking with purpose across that massive 360 stage to get to Jimin, and the two of them wrapped each other in this hug that fans are already calling one of the standout moments of the entire tour so far. V was beaming, genuinely, fully beaming, the kind of smile that you cannot fake for a camera because it reaches all the way up into someone's eyes, and Jimin just melted into it. Multiple fans caught it from different angles. Another angle of the Vmin hug was trending within the hour because everyone in that stadium who had a phone up wanted proof that they'd witnessed it too. If you know anything about BTS, you know Jimin and V's relationship is one of the most talked about, most beloved dynamics in the entire group. They've been best friends since trainee days, practically brothers at this point, and after years of military service pulling the members apart, physically apart, countries apart, missions apart, moments like this hug hit ARMY on a completely different level now. This isn't just fan service. This is two grown men who went through an incredibly difficult chapter of separation, who are now back on stage together, choosing, in the middle of a sold-out stadium show, to stop everything and hold onto each other for a second. That's not choreography. That's relief. That's love. That's 7 years of friendship refusing to be contained by a set list. And ARMY felt every bit of it. The clip of that hug spread so fast that within less than an hour of the show, it had already become the headline moment of the entire night across fan pages, with people writing full essays about it in the comments, about how far these two have come, about how healing it is to watch them still choose each other after everything. What makes it even more powerful is the timing of it. This wasn't during a slow ballad where a hug would feel expected, staged into the flow of the set list. This happened during one of the high-energy stretches of the show, right in the middle of the momentum, which means V genuinely broke away from what he was doing just to go find Jimin. That's not something a stage director plans out on a cue sheet. That's two people who, even with thousands of screaming fans around them and a full production happening in real time, still noticed each other across the stage and felt pulled to close that distance immediately. And when you've watched these two grow up together on stage for over a decade, when you've seen them as trainees, as rookies, as global icons, and now as men who came out the other side of years of separation still choosing each other first, that hug hits different. It's not just a nice visual for a highlight reel. It's proof. Fan edits of the hug were already being layered with older throwback clips within the hour, side-by-side comparisons of younger Jimin and V hugging on stages a decade ago next to this one, and the caption on almost every single one of them said some version of the same thing. There's still them. But wait, because Jimin was not done yet. If the sweater moment was sweet, and the V hug was emotional, the next thing Jimin did was pure, unfiltered charisma, and it's honestly the moment that had people losing their minds laughing while simultaneously melting into a puddle. At one point during the show, Jimin pulled his hair back into this messy, effortless ponytail, half of it slipping loose, framing his face, catching the stage lights in this way that immediately became its own trending topic. And with that ponytail bouncing, Jimin turned into full storyteller mode. He was talking to the other members, gesturing with his hands, his whole face animated, clearly mid-story, clearly making somebody laugh off to the side. and fans in the crowd who caught it on camera were writing things like, "Jimin is such a funny, expressive storyteller. I could watch him talk forever." And honestly, same. That's the thing about Jimin that doesn't always translate in edited clips or interviews. The man is naturally, chaotically funny. He talks with his entire body. His eyebrows do half the storytelling. And when you catch him mid-story on a live stage, unscripted, ponytail flying, hands moving a mile a minute, it's genuinely one of the most captivating things to watch because you have no idea what he's about to do next, and neither does anyone else in that stadium. That ponytail alone became its own moment tonight. Fans were already comparing it to some of his most iconic hair eras from earlier on this tour, joking that Jimin cannot go 2 weeks without giving ARMY a brand new hairstyle to lose their minds over. And honestly, at this point, it feels less like a coincidence and more like Jimin fully understands the power he has. Every single hair change becomes a headline. Every single hairstyle becomes a trending topic. And tonight, mid-story, half-up ponytail catching stage lights while he cracked up the members next to him. That image alone is going to be circulating for days. What really got people, though, wasn't just the hairstyle itself. It was the contrast. 1 second you've got Jimin the performer hitting sharp choreography, commanding an entire stadium with precision. And then, the very next second, the second the cameras catch him off to the side, he's this completely different version of himself. Loose, playful mid-sentence, clearly not thinking about how he looks because he's too busy telling whatever story he's telling. That contrast is exactly why clips like this travel so fast. It's not stage charisma. It's the real, unfiltered personality slipping through in between the performance, and fans live for those in-between moments almost as much as they live for the performance itself, because it reminds everyone watching that underneath the choreography and the lights, it's still just Jimin being Jimin, cracking up his friends on a random Sunday night in Toronto. So let's zoom out for a second, because when you put all of these moments together, the sweater off his own back handed to a child at the barricade, the spontaneous emotional hug with V in the middle of a stadium set, the ponytail-and-storytelling moment that had everyone simultaneously laughing and swooning, you start to understand why Toronto Night 2 is being talked about the way it is. This wasn't a good show. This was Jimin operating on a completely different frequency, connecting with everyone around him, fans, members, the entire building, in a way that felt raw and real instead of rehearsed. And that's really what separates Jimin from a lot of performers at this level of fame. He spent over a decade on some of the biggest stages in the world, and he still performs like every single show might be the one that matters most. He still stops what he's doing to notice a kid in the crowd. He still runs across a massive stage just to hug his best friend because the moment called for it. He still lets himself be goofy and expressive and completely unguarded in front of tens of thousands of people, because at the end of the day, Jimin has never really performed like a superstar keeping his distance. He performs like someone who genuinely wants everyone in that room to feel like they're close to him. And on nights like tonight, in front of a sold-out Rogers Stadium, on BTS's first Canadian dates in more than 10 years, that approach turns an already massive show into something that people are going to be talking about for a long, long time. If you were in that stadium tonight, if you caught even 1 second of any of these moments live, I genuinely want to know what it felt like standing there, because from the outside, watching clip after clip roll in, it already feels overwhelming. I cannot imagine what it was like to actually be in the room. And if you weren't there, if you're watching all of this unfold through fan cams and shaky phone videos and captions like "in front of my eyes," just know that you are absolutely not alone, because this entire fandom is collectively losing it right now over Jimin's Toronto Night 2. Scroll through any tag related to this show right now, and you'll see the same pattern repeating over and over. Someone posts 10 seconds of shaky, blurry footage, barely stabilized, half the frame just lights and screaming fans, and underneath it, thousands of comments from people who weren't even there, still reacting like they felt it too. That's the strange, beautiful thing about nights like this. You don't actually have to be standing at that barricade in Toronto to feel the weight of what happened. A 10-second clip is enough to travel across time zones, across languages, across every single platform. because moments like the sweater, the hug, the ponytail story, they don't need context. They just need to be seen once. And that's exactly why this show is going to keep climbing over the next few days. It's not going to peak tonight and fade out tomorrow. This is the kind of night that gets rediscovered over and over, remixed into new edits, set to new songs, paired with old throwback footage, until it becomes one of those permanent reference points fans point back to whenever they talk about this era of the group. Toronto Night 2 isn't just a concert anymore. It's already turning into a memory the entire fandom shares, whether they were physically there or not. Before we wrap up, let's just take a second to really sit with what this tour represents. This is BTS, freshly back together after years of individual paths and military service, standing on stage in front of ARMY again, and clearly not holding back. Every stop on this ARIRANG World Tour has been giving fans moment after moment of proof that the connection between the members and between the members and ARMY never actually went anywhere. It was just waiting, and Toronto on this second night felt like one of the clearest examples of that yet. Jimin giving away his own sweater, Jimin and V choosing each other in the middle of a massive production, Jimin turning a random moment backstage adjacent into a full storytelling performance with nothing but his hands, his face, and that half-up ponytail. None of it was in the script. All of it is going to be remembered. So that's Toronto Night 2. Wrapped up as best as words can capture it, though honestly no description really does it justice compared to actually seeing Jimin's face when he handed over that sweater, or watching V run across that stage with the biggest smile on his face. If this video gave you even a fraction of the chills these fan clips are giving ARMY right now, make sure you like this video, drop a comment telling me which moment hit you hardest, the sweater, the hug, or the ponytail storytelling era, and subscribe so you don't miss the next stop on this tour, because if Night 2 in Toronto was already this unforgettable, I genuinely cannot wait to see what the rest of this tour has in store. Thank you so much for watching, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.